Hey! Yo, everyone, Andrew here, bringing you another video review, and today we're going to be doing Flashpoint, issue number 3. Take a look at this comic cover right here. Now, issue number 3 is a very important issue for myself, because this issue is really going to help me determine on whether or not Flashpoint will be a good series or a not so good series from here on out. Because, well, let's be honest. Flashpoint has had good writing, and it has a good concept, but the execution hasn't gone off that well, and the pacing is pretty bad. I mean, we're more than halfway through the series, 3 out of 5 issues, and it feels as though we're just getting out of the first act right now. I mean, we've only been following just Bruce and Barry, no real other characters, although some have been thrown in there, and we're not really using the Flashpoint universe that much. I mean, you're going to have to go to the secondary titles for that. We don't even really know who the true villain is. I mean, we're told it's Reverse Flash, but I'm not going to assume that until I actually see Reverse Flash. Till then, the enemy is still a mystery for me. So, for the most part, issue number 3 has a big job for me personally, because it has to prove to me that this series is worth reading. So, the question is this. Will Flashpoint continue to progress and become a better series? Or will it be known as just that series before the relaunch? Well, we're just going to have to read and see. So, first, before I actually get into this issue, is 2 things. One is that this issue review, as with all my issue reviews, will be spoiler-free, for the most part. However, in order to review this issue, I am going to have to spoil some stuff from issue number 2. So if you have not read Flashpoint issue number 2, then I recommend turning off this review, read the issue, and then come back and watch this review. So, with that said, let's jump into the story. Issue number 3 picks up exactly where issue 2 left off, with that big cliffhanger. What was that cliffhanger? Well, Barry Allen, in this stroke of genius, thought that he could recreate his Flash powers by organizing all the chemicals from his lab and getting hit by a lightning bolt. Really, Barry? Really? Let's see how that works out for you. Oh, it didn't. Barry got hit by a bolt of lightning and burnt over 70% of his body with third-degree burns, or so Thomas Wayne says. And as Thomas Wayne is trying to heal him and bandage him up and all that, what does Barry want to do? Try it again! Barry, aren't you supposed to be one of the smarter ones of the Justice League? I mean, I know Batman is the smartest, but really, you're supposed to be pretty smart too. But Barry insists that his memories are starting to reform, and sooner or later he's not going to even remember the previous universe. And in order for them to save what was their history, they're going to need to get him to have his powers back. So Barry says that he is going to try this experiment again. Which does baffle me, because if you read the Crisis on Infinite Earths novelization, it goes into detail that Barry Allen himself was that bolt of lightning. But I won't go into detail about that. Just, let's move on. Anyways, Barry does the experiment once more, and it worked! He got his powers back, and because he has a super healing power, he starts to, the burns go away and all that, and he gets the Flash costume. So, what's the next point of action? Again, no pun intended. Well, they need to reform the Justice League. Well, as much as they can. And they need to get allies. So they start looking for the Green Lantern first, but they find out that Hal Jordan never got the ring, and he would be pretty much useless right now in combat. So who's their next pick? Well, Wonder Woman's off the table, and so is Aquaman, so who other than Superman? They find out that Superman's spaceship crash landed in Metropolis and killed hundreds upon thousands of people, and that he was taken away by the government. So Batman and Barry Allen make a deal with Cyborg in order to get information on how to find Superman. They then go to infiltrate a U.S. military secret base to find the Man of Steel. But when they get there, is Superman really super? Is he the good person that we all know and love? Will he really be the champion that Earth needs? Or will he just be pathetic, evil, or dead? You're just going to have to read and see. Let's get on to the good, the bad, and whether or not you should get it. Good! Well, boy, this issue had a lot more to it. I actually feel as though this issue had more pages to it. Whether or not that's the case, I don't know. I don't count the pages. But it felt like a longer issue than issue number 2 and issue number 1. Felt like it had more there. I was also happy that they introduced Cyborg as one of the main cast characters. Issue number 1, he was there as kind of just a secondary character, but they're really actually using him. And if Cyborg's going to be part of the Justice League, whether it be the original team or the new team after Flashpoint, I really need to see more of him. I already love Cyborg as a character. I mean, I loved him in New Teen Titans. I love him in general. But for me to think of him as an A-list big leaguer, I got to see a lot more of him going into September. So I like the fact that they're using Cyborg a lot more. It's a great character, and they're giving him exposure that he needs. And he's being true to form. Cyborg is probably the only character in this alternate universe, save from a few minor characters, that's actually acting in character to his previous self. He is Cyborg, virtuous, honorable, and duty-bound to help out people, to save people. So, I like that. I like that the story gets a little bit more progression. This issue does push it far out of the first act, and we're actually getting somewhere. And I like the fact that they're actually looking for Superman. And in addition to that, we got a few small clippets like Wonder Woman finding the Resistance. So that's nice stuff on the side. The art was good. The writing was, for the most part, good. Although there was very little action, the action that we did see was okay. Bad. Well, we still don't know who the main bad guy of this series is. Again, we keep on getting told it's Reverse Flash. Flash keeps on saying it's him. But I'm not going to believe that until I actually see it. For all we know, it could be Dan Didio himself. But let's be honest. I mean, the thing is I need to see a villain. I need to put a face to this bad thing that's happened to the DC Universe. I don't care who it is. Well, actually, I do. I mean, if it's like Ambush Bug, it'd be incredibly random. But I actually need to know concrete that it's Reverse Flash. Because right now it feels as though Geoff Johns telling us it's Reverse Flash, but it's obviously not going to be him. So I need a face to this comic. I need a villain. In addition to that, although this does push the comic forward a lot, I still feel as though this is still only maybe a third of the way through of what the story should be. This story really needs a 7-issue arc rather than a 5-issue arc for it to really get the motion going and really be a good, respectable story. For all I know, Geoff Johns can pull it out in 5 issues, but I feel as though he would do a lot better doing it in 7. It makes me feel as though Flashpoint is just going to be an okay series and be known as that series that was done before the big relaunch. Because if you think about it, whenever DC does reboots, revamps, retcons, or relaunches using big events, it could either go on one end of the spectrum. For example, Crisis on Infinite Earths was a great event that then ushered in a new era for comics. But Zero Hour Crisis in Time sucked. And it did change out the DC Universe, but it sucked. Feels though Flashpoint in the end is going to fall somewhere in between. But we're just going to have to read and see, because you know what? I'm not going to judge a series until it's completely done. But on a whole, I have to say, whether or not you should get it, yeah, Flashpoint number 3 was good. Much better than the first 2 issues, and we're actually getting this car going, this engine going. Hopefully Geoff Johns can pull it out in 5 issues. I'm praying he does. But, like I said, issue number 3 was fun, and it left us off on a nice little cliffhanger. So with that said, I'm going to end this video here. This is Andrew saying peace out for now.